Welcome into the Fantasy Advantage. Today, I'm talking about something that I've put a lot of work into over the last few weeks. It's something that I like to call an impact player. I wanted to find players that aren't just consistent. It's players that consistently score 14 plus points a week. And I picked that because I felt like if you've got someone scoring 14 or more points every week, you have a full team of that, you're pretty much winning every single week. So I wanted to find guys that are doing that as consistent as possible. For running backs and wide receivers, I did the 14 points. I'm going to do another video on running backs and wide receivers later. Quarterbacks, I picked 18 points and up. So what I went with to like hit the rate is 60 to 65% of the games they play, they hit 14 or more points. That's to qualify. And then of course there's some that go more and they're in different tiers and things, and that's something else that I put out that I'll get into in the video. Now, something that I don't want people to think is if they don't qualify for this, I'm saying that they're necessarily bad. Because they're not, and you're gonna find some players that didn't make the list that will probably surprise you, and it feels like I'm saying, don't draft them, they're not good, which I'm not. There's players that you'll see that didn't hit this rate but are plenty fine in fantasy, but I do still want to go with guys that are consistent in this scoring range and also aren't just in the first round. This is mainly to point out players that are going to give you a week to week edge more often than not. Really, that's what I'm going for here. Help you consistently score more points. At the 60 to 65% rating, you're looking at 2/3 of your games scoring that many points. They're contributing to wins. I think that helps you get into your playoffs and go make a run for your championship. So, in the first tier, we have Ja'Marr Chase and Justin Jefferson. They're guys that hit at an elite rate. I don't have a lot to say about them. They are the 101 and the 103 in ADP right now. All of this is based off single quarterback PPR ADP right now, not like dynasty startups and things like that. It's just like redraft. So just wanted to clear that up while I continue. But yeah, you know what you're getting out of these two. They're both really great, and they're going to help you win pretty much every week that they play, other than one or two duds. Everybody's got one, so it happens. But yeah, these two are elite. Not too much to talk about here, just showing like that's top end. That's like the top end elite rating. Next, I want to go into tier 2, and that's where I have the next player, Terry McLaurin, that I want to talk about. He hit at almost an elite rate of 76%. He's someone that you can get as your wide receiver 1 and feel comfortable with. He's going like into the 3rd, beginning of 4th round, and you could easily go like hero RB and then get him as your RB1. And if he's putting up these numbers, which I think he will, him and JD5 have a definite connection, and I think that it's not going to change this year, even with the sophomore slump that players get into, especially quarterbacks. I don't think that's going to cause a problem with Terry McLaurin stats. He's the kind of guy that if you have him as your wide receiver 1, you can feel comfortable with, especially if he's hitting at this rate. Even if it goes down a little, he's contributing to you winning weeks multiple times throughout the year. So he's definitely someone who's at a buy in that draft capital. The guy after him, still in the same tier, is Chris Godwin. It kind of blew me away. Like, he's going in the 6th to 7th round. His ADP is 65, and that's the wide receiver 31. Last year when he was playing the first, 8 games he played, he was the wide receiver 1. He hit at a 71% rate for the impact rate, and all signs point to him coming back for week 1 and him playing after getting through this injury. Him and Baker have a connection. They scheme him into the offense, and they plan for him to get certain plays, and he executes well and gets the ball. Even with Evans and Igbuka, I'm not that worried about him losing that much work. He might even be getting more work than Evans. I mean, it's all signs pointed to that last year, and I think he might do it again. And in this roughly 6-round area that he's going, people like Pickens, Waddle, Addison, Pacheco, Aaron Jones, and like Tet McMillan, these guys are all going around his area of draft, and I would take him over every single one of them. The next tier is, I've slated it into tier 3. They're all great guys. Lamb, Neighbors, Puka Nacua, Nico Collins. These guys all hit at 66 and 67% rates, which is really awesome. I think Lamb can potentially go up because he's going to have healthy Dak this year. He'll be healthy this year. And the years before, he's slammed it anyway. I mean, he was the wide receiver 1 like 2 years ago. So I think Lamb being faded a little bit after last year is a great spot to get him. Like that mid to late first round is going to be a home run for a lot of people, and he's going to help you win. That rate's going to go up more this year. I can guarantee it. Which brings me to Neighbors, who I also think is going to go up as well. Last year, he had a terrible QB presence in the room. I mean, he had Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, what was it? Hoyer was throwing to him at one point. The guy had nobody throwing him the ball. This year, he's got Russ. Russ is a vet, man. I don't care what anyone says. Russ is a vet, and he's going to throw to the open guy, and Malik Neighbors is literally always open. And Russ wants to look good to continue to play, whether it's with the Giants or another team. I think he's going to feed Neighbors, and that's going to boost this number. Neighbors is going to hit this at I can guarantee he's going to go over 75%. Neighbors is one of my favorite players in the draft this year. He's somebody that even in like the top 5 picks, I'm taking him. And I understand he's also like a first round pick. So it's not like you're getting a steal of a deal on him per se, but getting him in the late first, early second is going to be an absolute steal. I think he could be wide receiver 1 and win you the league hands down. So just wanted to point out that he has these numbers already in his rookie year, and I don't think it's going to get any worse. Nico Collins is going to do Nico Collins things. He got hurt last year. He kind of deals with injuries, but when he plays, he's a home run. I don't think he's someone you have to worry about. Puka Nacua, same. He's got Devontae Adams there, but he also just had Cooper Kupp, was doing the same stuff. No, not too much to talk about them. Their ADP seems right. They hit in a lot of games. So, yeah, just grab those guys if you can at like your wide receiver 2. Would be great. After them, we go down another tier to tier 4. And it's not a big drop off, but I wanted to kind of categorize certain like levels of these players. The first one in this tier is Brian Thomas. Now, he had a slow start last year, and I understand that T-Law is probably not the best quarterback in the league. He hasn't really met that like prodigy status people were thinking that he was going to hit. His stats are very similar to Daniel Jones for career so far, but he is more competent. And the back half for Brian Thomas really took off last year. He had Mac Jones throwing him the ball. I think that the coaches decided, like, let's just let Brian Thomas loose and chuck him the ball and see what he does, and he did amazing. So I think even with Hunter getting on the team as well, I don't see a reason for the Jags to be like, not throw to Thomas so much. I think he's great as well. His price is a little rich because I just don't know for sure how Lawrence is going to perform, but I do think things are opened up now with Brenton Strange and Travis Hunter being there. I do think that's going to help open more things up for Brian Thomas, because last year there was really no one else to throw to, and he was still getting a lot of catches. And he's got another year. Like I think Brian Thomas is going to up his number a little bit this year on impact rate. After him, you've got Drake London, who's is what he is. His ADP says as much. He's going to do probably the same thing this year. They do have a couple other weapons they like to throw to. You got Bijan. So he's good. He's great. I don't have much to say there with Drake. But the big surprise out of all of this was Josh Downs. Josh Downs' impact rate was 64%. That's crazy. His ADP is 104 right now at 46. I think there was a lot of misconceptions last year too with Josh Downs that he was only performing with Joe Flacco and not Anthony Richardson, and that's just not right. He actually was still had plenty good games with Anthony Richardson. Now I will say his down games were down, and those were with Richardson, and I get that there's risk there, but at that price, you're getting him for cheap. You're not getting him expensive. He's practically free. I mean, you're looking at around the 10th round or so, maybe a little later. Like, this is the perfect time to grab him, and he's gonna boost your team in like the flex spot and help you win more weeks than he's gonna make you lose them. And you can switch him in and out depending on, you know, who they're playing. But he's going around guys like ETN, Golden, Jaden Reed, Ramondre. All of these guys aren't people I would want to take there. Like, he's in this range of it gets kind of weird and ugly in the draft, and he's practically a home run hit week in to week out, and he's going this late. Like, he's a smash draft that late in the draft. It's a no-brainer for me to get Josh Downs. After you get into that tier, you kind of go down into, I kept it in this same tier, but it's a little drop lower. There's Cooper Kupp, who had a 63% impact rating, Ladd McConkey with a 62, and T. Higgins with a 61, and Devonta Smith with a 61. Now, Kupp's kind of old. He's on a new team. I don't really know where his year's going to go, so I don't know how to feel him out. I'm not really sure with him, but I think he's a great late round guy to just take and potentially win you your league as well. But it's tough to tell with him. You don't know in that situation. Ladd McConkey did his thing. Him and Trey Harris are going to have another good year. You can expect kind of the same. I do think Trey Harris gets some work and takes a little off Ladd, but I think you can expect the same out of Ladd. T. Higgins' ADP is at 28. You know, you're looking at the back third at wide receiver 14, and I think that's a good, comfortable spot for him. He mainly just deals with injury all the time, but if he stays healthy, he's gonna be insane. Even with Jamar Chase, it's crazy how much of an impact T. Higgins has on like week-to-week basis. 61% with Jamar Chase at 82%. That's crazy. But the guy I really want to hone in on here is Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith is going wide receiver 25. His ADP is 54. That might be some of the best value in the draft. His impact rating being 61%. And he's the epitome of like the wide receiver 1B. He's could literally start, I think, at almost any other team that doesn't have the other two, like 3 or 4 like elites. I think he would step into the wide receiver 1 role and take over. And he's getting drafted around guys like DK, Zay Flowers, and Xavier Worthy, and I would absolutely take him over all of them. A lot of the guys I've been talking about are people that you can very easily have on your team. You can wait to grab Terry McLaurin or Chris Godwin, grab Devontae really late, grab Josh Downs really late, and they're all going to put into your winning weeks. They're going to keep the floor of your team very high and help you consistently pick up wins for sure. A couple things that I did want to get into as well was some notable misses. Some players that I was kind of surprised to not see make the list. One of them being AJ Brown. AJ Brown didn't make the list, man. He didn't get over 14 points in more than, I think it was about 50% of games, which is still good, but he doesn't get the impact rating. I was a little surprised by him. Another one was Amon-Ra St. Brown. Didn't see that one coming. I thought Amon-Ra was a wide receiver 3, but he had a couple of like really big games and he kept his floor like higher, but he wasn't consistently scoring the points that contribute to wins, to me, in my opinion, in this impact rate. Garrett Wilson's another one. Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, which I think you kind of assume anyway. I do think Tyreek Hill's on a decline here. And then Marv Harrison. Marv Harrison's a little concerning too. His OC, Petzing, doesn't use him very well. He had one target out of motion last year, and they pretty much leave him at the perimeter. They don't move him around, and I think that's not utilizing Marv the right way, and it's going to hinder his fantasy value until they figure that out. And if they do it this year, I think he becomes like a top 10, top 12 receiver immediately, but they've got to get him involved in different ways and try to find ways to get the ball in his hand with motion and routes and moving him around, putting him inside, things like that. He definitely needs. But if they do that, then I think he's a great buy, but he's also going in like the third round, and I don't trust him there. A couple other little notes that I have. Diggs last year, 5 out of 8 games he played, he hit the impact rate, but he's got a torn ACL and he's 31, and I don't think he's going to start for at least the first 4 to 6 weeks. So, buy at your own risk. But if he gets on the field, is immediately there one and takes off, then he's going to probably do exactly the same thing. So Adam Thielen finished really strong, and his ADP is free. It's pretty much not even drafted. So that's someone you can either draft last round or go pick up on waivers. And he's a guy who, if he just comes back onto the field, picking up where he left off last year, I think it's going to be big. He's still routing guys up. I mean, he's still doing the thing. He's like 34, 35 years old, and he's still doing this. He's a guy that you can get so late, and he can boost the floor of your team so much. Waddle, interestingly enough, was somebody that has never hit this rate. In all of the years he's played, the 4 years or so that he's played, he's never done it. He's never made the impact rate, which did shock me. I know last year and the year before with like injuries and stuff, but it was still surprising. Even the rookie year and the year after that were good years. Like, he didn't hit. I don't know why. I think it's a lot of mouths to feed there. Tua's hard to trust, so I get it, but it's tough to believe, especially with him going. He's going about the 7th round, which feels right, but I still think that's too expensive for me. Waddle's a guy I would take like in the 10th round on the off chance he does pop, but yeah, that's just not anywhere that I'm gonna touch him. Same with DK. DK's going like 5th, 6th round, and that's too rich for my blood. He's a guy who I don't think he's ever hit the impact rate either, and he's not going to do it this year with the Pittsburgh situation. Even with Rodgers, I really don't know. I don't know if there's any chance that he can help you get wins in more weeks than not. So, yeah, he's a guy I wouldn't take. Calvin Ridley, just another interesting note that I found. He hadn't done it since 2020, and I don't think it's going to change unless Cam Ward's like the Messiah. I don't know if that's going to change. And the last thing was Rashee Rice. He actually was slamming all 3 first games he played before he got hurt. As long as he doesn't get in law trouble and it waits till maybe next year, I think he's a guy to go grab too. He can definitely be a wide receiver 1 to top 5 after the end of the year, as long as he's playing all games. I think he's someone you can go draft and feel comfortable with. As long as we find out about the law situation, I think you'll feel comfortable knowing like he can be your wide receiver 1. I think he full season will hit that rate. Another player that I think could fall back into getting the impact rate is Davante Adams. Him and Matt Stafford are going to do some big numbers this year, I think. Matt slings that ball. Davante Adams hasn't really lost a step, gets open. He's going to score touchdowns. I know Matt's going to want to throw the ball to him whenever he can. He's a guy that you can get in like the 4th round. And honestly, if you went hero RB and got Davante as your wide receiver 1, I think you're actually sitting pretty. I don't think that's actually that bad. You get him, and then you can get Devontae Smith the next round or 2 later. that duo of wide receivers, if you go heavy into running backs and grab like a top quarterback, your team's looking pretty good. So yeah, that's the impact rate. Something that I'm still putting some work into. I hope you liked it. You can let me know what you think about it down in the comments. I'd really like to know. If there's any other questions that you have, I love talking football. I'm going to put my Twitter down in the description as well. Go follow me on there. I'm on there a lot, and I'm so open to just talking football, man. I love chatting about players and where we think they're going to be this year and having good conversations and debates. So follow me there. If you like the video, please subscribe. I've put a lot of work into this. I'm a one-man show. All the graphics, the recording, the editing, everything I do is just me on top of a full-time job and everything. So I put a lot of work into this. So let me know what you think about the video. You can give me some good feedback on what you like, what you don't like, anything like that. Just let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. So thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking this out with me, and hope to see you again. Stay hydrated.